Welcome to our podcast. Let's see what happens. And this podcast features two women with ADHD, and we talk about our life choices, maybe shed some light on life with ADHD, perhaps inspire. Probably not, though. Okay. What would you say you do here?
Natalie, how's it going trying to find those questions?
I am getting there. How do I
Well,
search? Wait, in my email, I sent it to myself. What did I call it?
well, maybe you could
I
just.
called it questions. Found.
That sounds like a really good
Got it.
name for the
Nailed
email
it.
of questions.
Sort of.
Well, hi, listeners. How are you, Natalie?
I'm good. How are you?
Okay. After our usual internet struggle, just two women
Okay.
living in 2026 trying to use the internet. It's
For
fine.
the first time ever. Hello.
Very, very first time.
This entire experience has been a Christmas miracle.
Yes, I couldn't agree more. I think the real Christmas miracle, Natalie, is that I'm not throwing up right now. On this show, we're really known for giving totally unhinged, real bad advice. I'm going to give some good advice for once on this show.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. So I hope everyone's sitting down, okay?
I am intentionally paying attention compared to the rest of our conversations where I'm just half paying attention.
The good advice is about to happen. If you have either food poisoning or norovirus and you have 12 hours of feeling good, the advice is do not take that as a cue to go out and eat a bunch of enchiladas. Even if it seems like a good idea, because I can assure you that is too bold a choice.
It's like a
Too
false
bold a
summit.
choice. It's a false summit.
You're like, I'm there. And then it's like, but are you?
You flew too high and too close to the sun and you got burned. And by burned, I mean you got another trip to the bathroom, that was violent and aggressive and you didn't want to be there, but there you were. Anyway, so that's the good advice we're going to dole out. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's get on to the real meat of the show, which is the bad advice that people are here for.
Yes,
I'm assuming.
totally bad advice. So I'm Natalie, and
Right, we
I
got to introduce ourselves.
really love giving advice of all kinds, whether it's warranted or not, whether I feel like it's full of wisdom or I just feel like talking to that person.
Yes. That's how you make friends, from what I hear.
Yes.
I'm Lauren, which better known as Deeley, which is my last name, and I love to hear myself talk.
I would have ever guessed either of these things, so I'm glad
That's
we
my
did
whole
those
intro.
amazing introductions.
Yep.
Yes.
And on today's podcast, we've got a real treat, not just for the listener, but for one another. We're real excited about this one.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to ask each other questions. So I was like, let's ask questions to each other. And then without thinking, for you, I just went and wrote down 5 questions. You will be very excited to hear my first one. They're very important, significant questions, which I'm sure you will conclude on your own after I read my first one.
Okay. My questions, I just want to let you know, also
Yes.
very important, very well thought out. And I really think they're going to illuminate some things for us. So these are big deal, hard hitting, probing questions. But I'm ready to be in the hot seat, Natalie. Let's go.
Yeah. It's like CNN meets TED Talk meets Sesame Street.
Meets up in 2 feral beasts that met in the forest and are
Fraggle
fighting
Rock.
over a fucking berry.
It's like Planet Earth. That's good. Yeah. Like who will win, the shark or the turtle? You're like, oh, I don't know. Good question.
Turtle's got a hard shell,
Yeah. It does.
Anyway,
Yeah. Okay.
so
Number one.
back to your questions. Number 1.
This was the first thing that came to my head. Just prepare yourself.
I'm ready. I am prepared.
If you could be a rainbow, what colors would you be?
That's great. Okay. I love this because I'm going to explain something with my hyper vivid imagination.
I know.
You're going to have no idea what I'm
Ask me
talking
this
about.
question, I'd be like, I'm an arch, and they'd be like, "Meh, terrible."
No.
Yeah.
Your answer is bad. This is amazing. For those of you that don't know, even though I think we only have 8 listeners and you've all listened to all the podcasts, but in case we have a new listener, hi, Natalie has aphantasia or aphantasia, which means she can't picture things in her mind.
True.
I, however, have the opposite, which is like I live in a crazy world in my brain. So if I were a rainbow, what colors would I be? First of all, sparkles, all sparkles. Every color that I mention, it's glitter. So for those of you that can picture things in your brain, I want you to imagine big sequin glitter that's so shiny and amazing, like the kind of sequins and glitters that they make dresses. So one arc would be fuchsia. The next one would be an iridescent disco ball kind of deal. It's all the colors, but also silver.
By the way, listeners, the way she's describing this, she's acting out the rainbow. She is the rainbow. She's making arches and her head's moving forward and back. And the excitement is just pouring out.
Yeah, I can't stop.
There's
Fuchsia,
lots of things going on.
fuchsia glitter sequins, and then iridescent glitter sequins. Then there would be a turquoise glitter sequins. But I also imagine them that they're also raining down more glitter sequins in some sort of biodegradable or friendly way. So it's not just the rainbow, but it's showering this. Then there would be a purple, like a darker than lavender, but not indigo. And then like a really, really pretty cerulean blue. And for those of you that don't know what color that is, it's the best Crayola blue. If you think back to your childhoods, it was the Crayola blue that had the hard to pronounce name, the prettiest blue imaginable, all raining down showers of glitter all around you.
The only
Great
color
question,
that
Natalie.
I really know is purple. I'm like,
Well, that was
what
the
the fuck
thing,
is
though.
fuchsia, cerulean? I'm like, wow. Iridescent. I mean, I guess I can figure that out. But yes.
Whatever.
What do you have a sad color, like sad bear in the Care Bears?
Do I have a sad color? Yeah, I think I'm going to go with taupe.
Again, I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck these colors are. Like, not only can I not picture things in my head, but I don't even understand the vocabulary I use to describe them. I'm gonna have to go
Taupe.
Google search all of this.
Yeah. So taupe is basically a not color. It's like gray.
Oh,
It's not
interesting.
gray. It's not beige. It would be
Interesting
my sad color.
Choice to describe that. Yes. Okay. Well, I'm glad that we opened up with that. All right, you go.
That's the best question I've ever been asked, Natalie. Okay. I'm not kidding.
Oh,
I can ask a lot of questions all
that
day.
was my
and,
number one question, by the way.
like everything else is downhill from here.
That was my best one. Yeah, for sure.
That was it. We led high. Okay, I'm going to start with not my best one. Tell me about a rule that you think is absolutely inane and thus you refuse to participate in the rule.
Man, like every rule. Oh, God. And it would be easier if I named a rule that actually made sense to me.
Okay, what is one rule that you think makes sense to you?
I think stop signs are good and stopping at them. I think that rules for me are more guidelines. And I used to be much more of a rule follower. I grew up with myself. And then I had a kid who's also neurodivergent and he doesn't follow any rules at all. And when you have a kid like that, once you start arguing with them, it's like 20 degrees out. And he's like, I'm not going to wear shoes. And you're like, you have to put your shoes on. He's like, well, I'm not. And walks outside. You're like, well, okay, I guess that's your choice. That was very extreme. It would be like summertime. But that's with everything, every single thing. Why do I have to go to school? If you break down that entire system, it does not make sense. But you just slowly break it all down. And then ultimately you're like, I don't know. And that's sort of my conclusion to all of the rules. I don't know. I don't know why we have these rules. They don't make sense. Somebody just made them up, and then everyone was like, okay, we'll follow these rules. Beep, boop, beep, boop. I mean, stop signs when people are around, yes, those are good. That's a great question. I can't think of a rule that I really despise off the top of my head other than just every single rule that society puts on us, especially as women, and the expectations around that. And I think by my outfit choice, I just ooze nonconformity. I cannot conform to your stupid rules and expectations of whatever the fuck. And whoever made that up, fuck you, man.
That was really the answer I was hoping for, is that you'd be like, every rule. And that's exactly what you said.
That's it.
And you know what, Natalie, you win. You win all the
I
points.
do feel like that's perfect.
You
I love
answered
it.
correctly. Let's move
Yeah,
on.
great. Okay, for you, number 2, what is something you wish your parents knew about you growing up?
That's a really good question. So I am also a highly sensitive person, which basically means that I see and feel and experience things at a really high intensity. And one of the things that I see and pick up on really quickly is other people's moods. Yes.
I'm doing
Just like that.
some hand
Yeah.
motion that means samesies.
Samesies. I can walk into a room and be like, oh boy, that person had a fight with their partner and that person doesn't want to be here and this person's really excited and they want to have sex with that person.
Yeah, no, me too.
Instantly.
And if there's
Um,
somebody who I have a closer tie with, I can almost feel their energy. If they
Yes.
text, I'm like, what's up?
Yep,
Or I
totally.
just can feel it and then I'll reach out to them and I'm like, something happened. Mhm.
100%.
That was a superpower. Okay,
it is
I'm
a
taking over your
superpower.
question.
No, this is great.
That was very
this is how
exciting,
it-
though.
And I'm a big believer, right, that the thoughts we have put out into the world, anyone can pick up on them. And there's certain people that have a much stronger radio signal going out
Mhm.
and that also have a much stronger antenna. And I feel like I have both, to the point where like I was trying really hard to have one day where we were just in a little couple bubble, right? Where it was just the two of us. And some stuff happened where I had to take a phone call and I felt it happen. It was like the window opened. And in that same moment of getting that phone call, I got 3 text messages, 2 other phone calls, a couple of emails that like all came through. It wasn't like, oh, my phone was on Do Not Disturb and then I turned it off and then the stuff came in. No, it had been available all day, but nothing came in until I sent out the signal to the world like, oh, we're open for business. And then boom, 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 boom. Everyone was like, aha.
That's amazing. I don't think I have that as strong, but I certainly pick up on people's things. People have asked me, how do you do that? It just happens. Just know.
Yeah,
It's not
I
even like a
can't- I-
thought process. I
No.
can just feel it. I'm like, there's something here.
Something's going on.
Mhm.
Yeah. And the reason that I wish my parents had known that is that that's actually really confusing and scary for a kid. When we're children, right, we're so self-centered that it felt like I was in control of a lot of their attitudes and emotions and experiences. And so if they were upset or angry or having a bad day, I figured that it was something I was doing.
Yes. Maybe you felt like this, it would just completely crush me. And it still does.
Totally.
Like,
Totally.
I'm so impacted if there's an argument or something. It takes me hours and hours, if not days, to come back. I am so impacted by that. It's like the highs are super high, but if something happens, I go super far down and I feel like I just am crawling my way out. It's so much. That's so interesting.
Yes. And as little kids, I think if they had known, it would have been easier for them to be aware of their own behavior and also easier for them to help give me coping skills and understand and be like, hey, you know what? Other people get to have their own emotions and they're unrelated to you. And that's okay. And people are allowed to feel how they feel. Just because you're a highly sensitive person doesn't mean other people have to change because of that. And here are some ways that you can protect yourself. And here are some ways that you can exist in the world and not have everyone else's emotions just fucking destroy you.
I didn't learn that until maybe 3 years ago.
Oh, that's great. How's it been having that knowledge for 3 years? Because I'm working on, 3 minutes, it feels like.
It is. I mean, you're doing great.
It's slightly longer than 3 minutes, but yeah.
I feel like it strengthened my ability to read people even more, but I don't automatically assume it's me. There's this assumption that you're mad. I can tell you're mad. I'm sure it has to do with me. I'm sure I did something. Versus now I'm like, hey, you're mad. What's up? And because I feel so much more grounded and steady, I feel much more comfortable also pointing out other people's feelings. I just fucking know. And I know also it wasn't me. And if it is, I feel like because I called you out on it, you're just going to tell me and then we can solve it. So it's very different than having this shame bubble, right? This constant feeling like the world is almost critiquing you always.
Totally.
Well, these past 4 minutes, though, I tell you, you are killing it.
Well, I'm going to keep killing it with question number 2.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to take it back to high school here for a question. And we're going to do the old high school favorite, marry, fuck, kill, but the ADHD edition.
Yes.
Okay.
Evan.
So would you like to marry, fuck, or kill one of these common ADHD traits? The first one, hyperfixation. The second one, the rabid raccoon that lives in your brain and really runs the show. Or the third one, the ability to have 7 trains of thought simultaneously. Marry, fuck, kill.
Okay. What was the first one again?
Hyperfixation.
I'm serious. Okay. I think that I would probably marry hyperfixation because I'm assuming that the hyperfixation is on me. So that's nice, I think. Unless I'm oppositionally defiant and then you're in trouble. To marry. Oh, wait, no, I just did that. So it's like
you married
ADHD. I'm like,
hyperfixation.
what's the. Okay, I already said that. I would. Sorry, what are the other 2? I can't make this up. What are the other 2? Can't even know it in my brain.
Okay. The other 2 are the rabid raccoon that lives in your brain and secretly runs the show, and the ability to have 7 trains of thought simultaneously.
Okay, well, I would definitely fuck the raccoon because, they're just like, do whatever you want. And you're like, okay, that bitch is crazy. So I would do that. And I would probably have to kill the 7 trains of thought at once, even though ultimately I do feel like that's also a superpower.
Yeah. Wow. This is great. These are the hard-hitting questions that I think people really want.
Last episode, I was like, I can't follow directions. Well, there you go. That's how my brain works. When someone's like, Natalie, remember this. I'm like,
Nope.
What? Yeah. Hard pass.
Okay. I'm going to steal this question because I really am excited to answer it as well. First of all, I'm excited that you didn't kill the raccoon because you can't kill the raccoon because that's like killing yourself. So no, we can't do that. I think I would fuck hyperfixation because I think the sex would be so good, but for 1 month. So much of it.
Okay. So you would, yes, I like the timeline. I see where you're going with that. you would need a time frame for the sex because otherwise that shit would go bad pretty quick. But for a month, I hear you.
Best. Then, I mean, I'd probably have to marry the raccoon, like be the raccoon walking down the aisle.
Seems like a hard choice, but I feel
Trash
like if
can in
anyone
the
could deal
hand.
with that raccoon, it's you. So
100%. 100% I could marry a raccoon. Sadly, I'd have to kill the 7 trains of thought. I don't want to, but you know, this is the game. This is how the game is played. I
Yeah.
don't make the rules. Stupid rules.
that's okay. Stupid rules. That's another thing. Games like that, you're like, why would I ever follow the rules to that game? It's dumb. Okay. Question 3 for you. Oh, you're going to like this one. You almost got married at one point. I want you to tell the listeners the short version and most importantly, how you got yourself even into that situation as someone with ADHD, because I fell into kind of a similar situation, but your story is better.
Wow. I don't know how to tell the short version of this story, but here we go. We're going to try. Okay. Rapid fire short version. I had been in a relationship with someone for 6 years and it had been going badly for several of the last years. There was some big things that happened. There was a death in the family and there was, you know, kind of that like, well, you can't break up with someone after a death in the family and blah, blah, blah. And there was a lot of me trying really hard to make it work. Hyperfixating and being like, if I just work a little harder, I can fix this. Spoiler alert, you can't. But I thought I could, and I was young, I didn't know any better. So things had gotten really bad in this relationship, such that there was a lot of fighting, like a lot of yelling, fighting. And along the way, a dear friend of mine from college had sent out a save the date for a wedding in Italy. And she sent it out 2 years in advance. And so this was a much anticipated destination wedding. They rented out this whole villa. It was amazing. It was college friends. So you can imagine lots of drinking, lots of partying in this incredible villa in Tuscany, just brilliant. And so because we got the invitation so far in advance, the person I was dating at the time was going to come with me, but the dynamic in our relationship was such that I was basically supporting the whole team. I was the breadwinner, I was supporting us, and he was failing to launch. But I was like, no, if I just do a little more, it'll happen. And so I was like, yo, I'm going to take you on this all expenses paid trip to Italy. You just need to, I don't know, show up. Well, things go from bad to worse. We do not have a good time traveling. I do not have a good time traveling. And
Nobody could have foreseen us though. So, you know.
Nobody could have foreseen
There's that.
So surprise, it didn't go that well. At the wedding, I met a person who was also in the wedding, and we immediately fell head over heels for one another. The kind of kismet movie kind of thing that happens. Oh, you know,
All slow motion.
rarely in your life. All slow motion. And to the point where other people in the wedding were like, wow, are those two together? We had to be like, no, we're here with our respective partners. So after a week of party and like literally drinking the villa dry, they were
Falling in love with somebody else.
and falling in love with someone else. It's our last day. And I've made the decision in my mind. I'm like, I'm going to get on this plane and I'm going to go home and I'm going to break up with this person. And all we have to do is get through this one day in Rome. And so we all say our goodbyes and hug, leave the villa, and we go to Rome. And the person that I was dating at the time was like, hey, I really want to take you out to a nice romantic dinner. And I was like, okay, do we have a reservation? No. And I was like, do you know where you want to go? And I was like, oh, okay, so you want me to make a whole plan for a romantic dinner? No. And I was like, well, why don't we just walk around and find some food? We can figure it out.
P.S. I'm in love with someone else, so I actually give 0 fucks about this dinner.
Also, I've been drinking for 4 or 5 days straight, and I am now sobering up, and the hangover is coming on real hard. So we're walking around Rome, and it's hot out as it is, and there's like 1,000 people, as you have in Rome. And so he's wandering around Rome, and he's got a camera hanging off of him, and I'm like, oh my God, you are going to get fucking pickpocketed. Like, I hate this. I'm sobering up. We finally find a cafe. I eat an appetizer of braised kale. So I have a nutrient and a glass of wine. And so then we go and we're going to find another place and we're walking around. And I was like, hey, buddy, I'm getting pretty hungry. And we'd been together for 6 years. So we had the whole code where I was like, hey, we're kind of at like threat level yellow. Danger is imminent. I'm going to need to eat soon. And I'm running out of snacks in my purse and I'm running out of water. So like, we got to find a place to eat pretty soon. He's like, yeah, okay. And we keep walking. Now, this piece of braised kale that I had, long gone. The glass of wine, long gone. The hangover, very present. Water, gone. Appetite, very high. And so now I'm like pretty angry. And I don't know if other ADHD people have this situation, but I get really hangry. So now I'm like frustrated and we're walking around Rome and I'm like, this idiot is wandering around with his camera jangling around. And I'm like, please, could you just put your camera away so you don't get pickpocketed? Anyway, the sun's going down. I'm like, hey, buddy, we're at like threat level orange. The next color is red. So this is bad. This is really bad. I keep walking. And now the sun has gone down. The moon has come up and somebody, no, I'm just kidding. That's a cake song. But the sun did go down. Moon did come up and we're walking around and I'm fucking cold because I'm in a stupid ass sundress and I haven't eaten anything since this fucking braised kale like 19 hours ago. I am very sober. I'm very in love with someone else. I'm very not in love with this person who's marching me around Rome, starving me and freezing me. And we end up on this bridge. And I was like, dude, I've got to eat now. Not in 10 minutes, not in 5 minutes. And he's like, okay, well, why don't I just take some pictures off this bridge? And I'm like, why don't I just fucking jump off this bridge and maybe catch a fish with my bare fucking hands in the Arno? Because I'm so fucking hungry, I'm going to die. And so I'm literally like head in my hands, elbows on the edge of the bridge. Why are you taking pictures? You're not even that good a photographer. They're not going to turn out. And he goes, turn around. I want to get a picture with your face. And as I turn around,
Like
this
laser
guy is
eyes,
with my laser rage eyes
fire
because I'm
death
so
eyes.
hungry. I get this overwhelming feeling of like, no, 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 no. And he has dropped to one knee and he is proposing. And my first thought is, oh, and my second thought is cover your face because I'm clearly making not the right face. I'm not masking appropriately for someone who is being proposed to. And so I cover my face. And my third thought is, fuck, if I say no, I have to get off this bridge. I have to find a new hotel room. I have to change my flight. And I still haven't fucking eaten. So I still have to solve that problem. And then I come to and I realize my face has been covered for some amount of time and I've lost track of time. And there's people cheering. There's a guy singing because we're on a fucking bridge in Rome and I can't escape. I said yes.
I was so patient just to get there.
You were so patient.
I was so patient. It's amazing. I love that story because I can totally relate. Because when I get hungry, I do also shoot fire from my eyes and I hate everybody. And if someone proposed, if I was like, I am pretty hungry and this seems like the fastest way to eat, I'd probably say yes just to be like, okay, let's go eat. And then afterwards, I'd be like, now that I have some nutrients, I'm going to have to walk that back. So
yeah. So that's going to be a no. To give the listeners a little epilogue, don't worry, I did get to eat. So after I said yes, I was like, so can we get some food now? And he was like, yeah, absolutely. But at this point, it's so fucking late that I can't make this up. Every restaurant around us is shutting down. And so we're walking around and I finally see a restaurant with people that are sitting on a patio. And I walk into the restaurant and I say in Italian to the waiter, are you still serving dinner? And he was like, yes. I was like, great. And he was like, here's a table. And I was like, wonderful. Can I please get the largest glass of wine you have? Because the only thing that's going to get me through this is definitely self-medicating with booze. And he goes, no, we don't serve wine here. And I was like, oh, well, maybe because I'm so hungry, I'm not speaking Italian correctly. So I switched to Spanish and I asked for a glass of wine in Spanish. And he was like, no, we don't serve wine here. And I looked at him and in English, I was like, what do you serve here? And he says, now remember, we are in Rome. And he goes, this is an American hamburger bar. We only serve hamburgers and beer. And so in Rome, the really romantic dinner post-engagement and post-starving engagement was 3 tiny gray sliders and a beer that gave me heartburn.
I think the real takeaway here is if you're going to propose to someone with ADHD, if they're hungry, they will say yes. However, they might eat and then say no.
Yeah.
So
that might be a yes with an asterisk on it.
Yes, but just keep that in mind. You're welcome.
Here's some good advice. Feed the bitch before you propose.
They will say yes to whatever you want when they're hungry if it means they get to eat faster.
Yes.
So, wow, I'm glad I asked that.
Good advice.
Yes, totally.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, you asked your third question.
Third question. Natalie, approximately how many business ideas do you think you have had in your life, and which one was the most unhinged?
Oh, gosh. I have had probably just ideas that haven't come to fruition. I mean, countless. I feel like every day I have an idea. The ones that have come to fruition, probably like 30 or 40.
Yes.
Yeah. I think the most unhinged one I had was when I was 9 or 10 months pregnant. Can you be 10 months pregnant? I'm just going to say I was, well, yeah, I was 100 months pregnant and I decided that I was going to write a series of books on inclusion for children. And I did just that. I wrote 8 books. We've talked about this before. I got them illustrated. I did a GoFundMe, raised all the money for the illustrator, and then distributed all the books and then had a baby. And I did that. I also had a very unhinged idea where I started a nonprofit that supported including kids who have different needs in sports extracurricular activities. And I created a whole curriculum around how to do that and then taught coaches. And then I had another baby and I was like, I don't even know how to run a nonprofit. And also we don't have any money. So that was hard, but it was interesting.
So it's done.
Hope that's over. Those were probably my 2 most unhinged ideas. Just that I was like, well, I'm going to do this. And yeah, I don't know. Have you ever done it before? Nope. Do you have any experience? No. And then I just did it.
That's amazing.
Those were a bit
Yeah,
unhinged.
I love that. Well, I love that your unhinged business ideas are ones where you're like, I'm going to make the world a dramatically better place. That's super unhinged, Natalie. Y'all, my friend's amazing. Yeah. What is hinged for you? Like, if that's unhinged, what is
It's like
fucking
the
hinged?
opposite. It's flipped. Like a headhunter.
Wait, do you
Yeah.
mean like you're going and cutting off people's heads? Or do you mean like
Yeah.
you're working for HR?
Not a headhunter. What am I thinking of? Where you're like a mobster and then you're hired to kill people? Whatever that job is. A hitman. Okay, clearly that wasn't a great business idea because I can't even come up with the right word. And there's a lot of people out there who are headhunters.
But I feel like that's a really good cover because you're spending all day searching for people. And it's just unfortunate that in that model, the people that you search for, they never really get the job because they're dead. Because you're a hitman. Yeah.
That's my hinged idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love it.
All right, here, I have a question for you. This is my fourth question. I feel like you've designed the life that you want. And so if you had a piece of advice for people to create the life that they want, what would it be?
Wow. You're catching me on a tough day for that one because today I kind of thought that what I really should be doing with my life is running away from everything and learning how to sail a boat around the world, which is tough because I live in a landlocked state. So bit of a commute there. But yeah, thanks. That's a
doable.
really nice compliment.
Yeah.
Totally doable. That's a really nice compliment. And thank you. Because that has been an intentional part of my experience of life and my journey of life. And the advice that I would have, one, listen to my TED Talk. Two,
Is it out?
no.
Fucking stupid TED Talk people.
I mean, TED Talk people are great. They literally are like the best people on the planet. And I just want to live inside that bubble forever. But the advice that I would have is to actually take the time to envision your future self. Envision a future version of you without any sort of hindrance on possibility or figuring out how it would happen. Just give yourself the freedom to be like, if I could be any version of me, any one I wanted to be, what does he or she or they look like? What do they wear? What do they do? How do they spend their time? Who do they spend their time with? What do they spend their time doing? What do they eat? Where do they live? All the way down to the smallest detail, because I think in that comes a lot of clarity about the things that are actually important to you. And then give yourself permission for that vision to evolve.
Yeah.
right? Like,
And also envision it free of criticisms or judgments from other people. So
totally.
if that didn't exist or everybody was like, that's amazing,
Yeah.
what would you do?
What would you
It
do?
is harder to do this exercise when you have aphantasia, I will say.
Yes.
Because you're like,
Yeah.
envision yourself in the future, and you're like, what do I look like? Nothing is
Hmm.
coming to mind. I am just air.
So, Natalie, maybe you're a
Super.
pilot. Yeah. You know, maybe your true self is a
Mm.
pilot. Who knows?
Good.
But I think a version of that can happen for the 2 to 4% of the population that have a difficult time with visioning things like that. And it really is an exercise in getting very clear with what actually matters to you.
Mm.
So the way I do this is I have a really clear picture of myself on my deathbed, and I can picture what I look like. I have these long gray dreads. They're amazing because that's what my hair does to itself naturally. So my hope is to not be culturally appropriative with that. But just, it basically is that I've just stopped brushing my hair and now it's doing its natural thing. So long gray dreads. And as I make decisions, I try to make decisions from a place to put her in the driver's seat. So she's the one that's
Mhm.
actually making the decision to be like, yeah, this is actually a really great idea. Or if you do this, you're going to regret it. Or if you don't do this, you're going to regret it. And then it's a really nice way to make decisions because it's like not you. You don't have to really take the responsibility.
Did
yourself.
you make that decision? You're like, oh, this old
I
bitch
didn't.
told me to. They're like, who is he?
It's like,
You're
Ray
"Yeah,
the
it's
old
me."
bitch. Yeah, it's me. It's me.
You're
Yeah.
like, remind me not to
Um,
ask you any more questions. Or come to you for advice. It's great.
Thanks.
So good.
Thanks. You're asking really good questions, and I'm going to ask another silly one.
You do you.
Would you rather be stranded on a deserted island alone with one other extremely ADHD person, pick me, or one neurotypical person? Follow-up
Sorry.
question. If you select the neurotypical person, how long do you think both of you would last? And would it be the island that kills one or both of you, or would it be each other?
Okay, well, my gut instinct would be to get the other ADHD person for a couple reasons. One is I know we would have fun. I know we
fun.
would spend our time having these really big plans that were really fun. Like, let's create a boat and then let's try to sail it across the sea. And then we might die, but it would be super fun. Or let's build a house out of coconuts, or let's go hunt this tiger, or whatever islands offer. Clearly, I haven't been to one in a while. And with a neurotypical person, we would build probably a sound shelter, and it'd be focused on survival and figuring out future logistics for food and things like that, which sound very necessary, yet extremely boring. And I probably would end up hating that neurotypical person within about an hour. And that would be the end. I might just jump into the ocean and swim away and die. So ADHD person all the way. Yes, you can come. You can come. That's a good one.
Mhm.
All right, my last question for you is, if you could help people understand what goes on in your brain, what is a way that you could best describe it to them?
How long you got?
Like a minute.
I don't know, that there's a feral raccoon up there driving the controls of a really complicated spaceship, and he's just like fucking button mashing. I'm kidding. A little.
Are you sort of?
I'm not.
That's actually kind of perfect. And then he's like, that Deeley, what do you think? And she's like, fucking live your life, bitch. And you're like, okay,
Yes.
we're streaking. Who's streaking? Me and my raccoon buddy. And Natalie is somewhere else, but we lost her. But I'm sure she's doing it too.
Yeah. So I think it's like that. And if I wanted to give a more serious answer, I'm trying so hard all the time. Yeah, I think that is the thing that I wish people knew. I am trying to stay focused on the thing that's happening. And it's not because I don't find it engaging or exciting or important or valuable, but it's just I have a lot of thoughts and there's a lot of
Yeah.
things going on in the world. And I want to think about them and comment on them and engage with them. So I'm trying to stay focused on what's happening. I am trying to keep track of all of the really good thoughts that are happening in my brain and log them away for later so I don't lose them. I am trying to remember where my keys are. I am trying to not forget about the really important things that I have to do so that I don't let myself or others down. And I'm trying to come up with systems to like outsource that because it's really tough to do it on my own. I'm trying hard all the time.
It's a lot of trying. I feel you, buddy.
This isn't going to count as my question, but how would you answer that question?
I would say very similar. My raccoon might be a little bit less feral, but I think that there's a lot of things that go on in my brain that I have a harder time articulating perhaps than you do. So it's like I have a lot of thoughts, but it takes me longer to access them. When I get distracted, it's a lot of like, I can feel that there's a thought where I want to comment on it like you, or I have these ideas and I can't wait. A lot of people talk way too slow for me. So by the time they finish a sentence, I can't argue with anybody because I'm like, I could have answered 5 of your points and 5 of your next points by the time you just said one word, and it drives me insane.
Yes.
And like you, I am trying hard all the time. Like you just saw that. You asked me a question that had 3 parts and I couldn't recall them. There were 3 things in a game that's I've played before, like not even new information. I still couldn't do it. That looks like I am not trying. There's a lot of
Oh, I know
areas in
you're
my
trying.
life where it looks like I'm not trying, but it's a lot of, I feel like the world in general for my brain is too slow.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I would view the world. I could do and think of so many other things. Plus, I have this, going back to even that other question, so many of the rules that are presented to me make no sense. And that's the systems that we live in, all of these things that are placed on us. And I just cannot sit idly within them and accept them for what they are unless I fully understand them. And that takes a lot of my brain power. And most of the time I conclude that they are not rules that I should or need to be following. And so then I have to kind of step outside or create my own. And so half the time I feel like I'm doing that. It's like creating my own world. I am a world creator.
Yes.
And I'm just so much smarter than everybody that I'm just thinking all the time. I did. That's my answer.
I could not agree with you more on the pacing of things. I also, God, like just.
I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm like, I am done with this argument. Why are you initiating a thought? Why are you silent? What are you doing? You're thinking? Weird.
Yeah, I actually want to give the world permission. If you are like us and you need to be like doing something else while someone else is thinking through or processing slowly, fucking go for it.
Yeah.
That's great. Do you want to knit me a scarf while we're having a conversation? Because that's the only way that you can stay present in the conversation. Yeah, I'm here for it. I think we'd also get a lot more scarves and other crafty things.
Amazing.
That was a great answer, Natalie. You're so thoughtful. I really appreciate that about you. Yeah.
Thanks.
So this question is a serious question disguised as a silly one. And I think there's also some humor in this, as well as you'll learn a bit about me. If they suddenly invented a magic wand that could eliminate your ADHD, would you use it, and why or why not?
Hard pass. I would not use it. Hard pass. Can you imagine living in this boring fucking world as just a person who follows rules and is just like, here are the directions. And you're like, beep, boop, step 1, boop, step 2. What is that?
I don't
All of these big ideas that I have, and even just going back to the way that we can both feel people and read their emotions and feelings, I would never give that up. I couldn't. And ask me the same question 20 years ago, I think I would have a very different answer because I was still trying to fit in. But now I'm like, no way. My ups and the way that I view the world and my zones of genius are so fucking high that I would take the weirdness any day. And as now obvious by this podcast, our lives are ridiculously funny. Like, they're so entertaining. The fact that I was going up to some random woman for like 2 months and talking to her about someone who I thought was her husband and just talking shit and then just walking away repeatedly, like week after week after week. That is not something a neurotypical person would do because they would probably pick up on the signs or have an actual conversation. Nope. And now I can tell that story. So no, fuck no. I would never. Going through the world with these kind of rainbow colored glasses where everything just, you assume it works out for you. Why would you ever give that up?
Yeah, never. I wouldn't. The unhinged confidence of whatever, as long as I can initiate the project, I'm going to figure it out. And I'm going to definitely get it to 90%.
Yeah, that seems high, but yeah, that's a little bit of an
100%.
overachiever.
Yeah, whatever.
God.
No, we don't finish things. Although you did publish those
Please.
books and you gave birth to a baby. So you did finish a lot of things.
I did. That was surprising that I did that, but yes.
The baby, because that actually happens, just it's going to happen no matter what.
Yeah, definitely not talking about the books, talking about the baby. That was also very surprising. I think that just having ADHD people come up with questions,
Mm-hmm.
you know, if somebody else who is neurotypical was come up with 5 questions, they'd probably be like, what's your name? I don't know. How boring are people? Probably pretty boring. What's your date of birth? Your
What
favorite
do you do
color?
for work? Yes.
Yeah. I mean, these questions were, and I love that there's no guidelines for like, let's interview each other. Okay, come up with 5 questions. And these were them.
I still think the best question was the very first question that you picked off with, which was, if you were a rainbow, what colors would you be? And I was like, finally, what is that? That's what I've always wanted to tell. Yes.
Yeah. The excitement to that question, too, was completely worth asking.
Sparkle bitch.
Yeah.
That's the rainbow.
Oh, my
Sparkle
God. It's
bitch.
amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
That was super fun.
Oh, well, thanks, Natalie. We should do this again sometime.
We should totally do this again,
Mm-hmm.
just for
Yeah.
us. Other people
just
can
for us.
join in if they want.
Isn't that what this podcast is anyway?
It totally is. You're like, I'm not feeling well. I'm like, but wouldn't it be more fun just to come hang out? And then if you throw up, it
Oh.
will be super funny.
This is what I wanted to say, and I totally forgot.
What?
I'm glad you brought this up. This is the magic. So basically, I've felt like absolute hot garbage all day. And then we were supposed to record, and then Natalie sent me a text. Are you puking like a frilled collared lizard? And the image that I got in my head of a frilled lizard that was throwing up was so funny that it revived me. I went into my office. I had a meeting with clients and then came back and was like fucking ready. I don't think that would have happened had my brain not gone on its own little journey to frilled lizard land. So
You're welcome. Yeah.
thanks. I really appreciate
Thank you. I appreciate
Yes.
you. Yay.
Well, let's see what happens.
Always. Forever.